Now I'll start mine. I mean, knock on his door, so let him know.
Okay, we'll start seeing if we're going through.
I am on by the looks of it. Let me just double check everything.
Okay, I'm good. It looks like you're good too.
Yeah,
All right.
lovely jubbly. Right, I'll let you
All right,
take it away.
everyone watching right now or will be watching later, thank you for joining. This is the first stream with our kind of rebranded name of Project Assemble. Yeah, this is like a new beginning kind of the name of stream that we're doing, but also like the same kind of content. And yeah, just excited to see where we go with this new brand. So, how are you doing today?
I'm all good, my friend. That lot. I've finally over my illness, so I'm all good. But now the whole house has got ill as well now, so I'm trying to stay away from everybody and keep healthy.
All right, so today is our comic stream. We're going to be talking about just comics that we have, do some recommendations, just see where the conversations go. Before that, though, this was something I was hoping I'd have last week for my announcement of my channel officially becoming Thwip Media. But I've got my very own t-shirt.
No way.
So just wanted
Damn.
to represent that today. I think it's really cool. So this is like my stream shirt now. I'll change it up every week, but yeah, I think it's very cool. I was hoping to have it last week. It actually came not long after we finished streaming, so like just missed us. And I'll hit you with the icebreaker just before we get into things. What is a comic event that you would love to see adapted into the MCU?
Oh, some of the big hitters have already happened. To be honest, myself, which obviously is Civil War,
Yeah.
Secret Invasion, and a lot. One off the top of my head, which again is a really good comic book series to read, and I think they may be doing it in future ones past obviously the Kang phase and everything, is the Avengers vs X-Men series. I absolutely adore that comic book series now,
Yeah.
and some of the conflicts you get within it, it's just so good now. And I just that's a comic book series I'd love to see. With the Phoenix Force and everything like that, would be just fantastic. So yeah, X Men, Avengers vs X Men. Myself, what about you?
Well, I've got a couple. So Annihilation is one that I really want to
Yeah,
see. I see that being a more of a finale event. Like that's like the last one you do. Or you could do it kind of, I guess, in between because it's a more cosmic side event. But if you wanted to really like go all out with Annihilation and make Annihilus the true end to everything with his the Annihilation wave, then that would be really cool. And then the second one would be a real Secret Invasion.
yes, yeah. I can definitely, yeah. They need. They could have done so much. Like so, we've said it before. They could have done so much more. Like in my phase in that lot of having so many
Yeah.
different characters as well. They really missed the ball on that one. They really did.
Yeah,
And it
and
was
the
just
fact now that they've kind of swept it under the rug and acting like it doesn't exist, it's like, what was the point of going through that whole process, hyping us up for garbage, and
yeah,
now they're like, yeah, it didn't happen. Just don't worry about it. It
yeah,
didn't happen.
exactly. Yeah, it's like with oh, I can't remember the English girl's name, like the one that works for MI5 and stuff, and she's got Talus's daughter. I was like, well, what's going to happen with that now? She's basically like the most powerful bleeding
Yeah.
one out there. So it's like,
Why do you need the Avengers? You have her with every single power that is in the MCU. Like, what's the
yeah,
point?
exactly, and it
Like
just
that
so
show went
frustrating.
through so many creative changes. Like writers were changing, directors were changing. So it it makes sense that it was a dumpster fire, but it's a project that should have had so much more care than it actually did.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't bode well for what they've done itself, sort of thing, which is really frustrating. That like they had so much promise and so much things they could have done,
Yeah.
and they probably didn't shot it. Like,
Like, we're
but
so
I'm glad.
lucky. Oh, yeah, yeah, go ahead.
No. Go on. No, carry on.
I was just going to say, we're so lucky that the Infinity Saga was given the amount of attention and care that it was given, because that's another very important comic event. So, like, we're very lucky that we got where we are today through the success of that event.
Oh yeah, massively now. Because like I said, I swear they should have gone back to how the first three phases went, because it was just so structured, so well laid out, and just not having just so much crammed on it. I know it's all about the views and it's all about like pushing the content out there and that lot, but
Yeah.
it's just not been so structured as it was back in the day and that lot. But I'm glad you asked that question, because my big question that I wanted to ask you that lot is, through all the comics like you've read and stuff like that sort of thing, in comics themselves, what major either event or scene has really made you go like, wow, sort of thing? I can't believe they're doing this.
That is a really good question. Just looking at my stack to my left here, I'm kind of scanning what could have done that. Because a lot of them are like, I kind of had an idea of what the story was and what happened in it. It was more, I wanted to read it so I was prepared for the movie. And then I could see how similar the book was to the movie. And I have a lot of like the classic stories in my collection. It's not
Yeah.
like a lot of the modern things. Even though I have read some of the modern stuff, but a lot of it has been what have the movies been built off of, and I've got a lot of that. So I think one of them, it would probably have to be something in Secret Invasion, or in the 2015 Secret Wars, from Jonathan Hickman. Because that one was a huge surprise to me. Like, I knew it had some praise behind it, but when I read it, I was like, wow, this is probably the best Marvel story I've ever read. Like, it's so well done, and there's a ton of surprises in it. Like, the way they do Doctor Doom and Reed Richards together, it's so good. Just the whole plot, like, I'll get into it because I've got it in my stack, but the two of those, I think, like Secret Invasion, I had kind of seen in the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes show, which I highly recommend to anyone, because that's one of the greatest adaptations of the Avengers ever. But yeah, I saw that in that show, and I thought, this is cool. Why not get the comic book for it? So I got the omnibus, and it really surprised me. Like, there's so much that happens in that story, and like a lot of secrets and reveals and stuff like that. But yeah, those are probably mine too.
To be honest, I have read that comic book series, the Secret Wars, and that is a really good one. So it's quite nice now. But mine is a newer comic, and I'll give you a hint. The scene in this comic book series, because I love the comic book series as well, but the scene in this comic book series has actually been adapted into the film.
Okay.
And I'll give you another hint. It's in Avengers Endgame, and this is one of the parts where they go back in time.
Oh, back in time. Okay. I thought you were gonna say the Cap Mjolnir, holding up.
No.
They go back in time to the 70s to get the Tesseract.
No.
They go to New York. They go to Morag. They go to Asgard. I can't think of what it would be.
It is an iconic line that was a massive uproar, part of this comic book series, and it is from Secret Empires.
Oh!
When Captain America says, "Hail
That's right.
Hydra." And obviously in the film, he says it in the
Yeah.
elevator shaft, where they're all about to go, what the hell, sort of thing. When I first read, like, I've got a load of like paperback ones and stuff, but when I think this started in 2010, 2011, they had like massive collected
Yeah.
series like this, and so if you can see on the back, all of them line up and they have a massive
Oh,
like
that's
picture
cool.
with all on the spine. Absolutely awesome. It's fantastic when they were lit up. And when I've got this one, like this is issue 184. Part one is issue 183, obviously. And when I first read that bit, like I'd seen all the memes everywhere, and Captain America said "Hail Hydra" and all that sort of thing, and it was a big controversy. But when I read this and actually seen it all play together myself, I was like, damn, okay. And then obviously the big fight at the end where he's got a constant
Yeah.
like an Iron Man suit, and it's like you're fighting the original Captain America has been hidden away with Kobik and stuff like that sort of thing in his mind, and it's a right messed up thing there and that lot. But reading this comic book series and having that Hail Hydra moment, I just fell in love with it, and I was just like, I was so glad when they did it in Avengers as well and that lot. And when I seen it, I was like, yeah! I was so hyped, and I was just so like, not many people would know why he said that. Just saying it, obviously, just to keep his cool and that lot. But yeah, knowing the origins from it and coming from this comic book series here, it's just so good. Now, have you ever
I
read
have not
Secret
because
Employers?
I've heard very mixed things about it and more on the negative side.
Okay,
But yeah, it's
okay.
always been one that's been interesting to me, but I've never read it myself. Like I have an idea of what it is, um,
Mm.
but yeah, I've never read the whole thing, so
Uh,
very interesting.
Myself, it's a very good one. I just want to just do something that I forgot to do. There we go. um, yeah, it's a very good comic book series that I would highly recommend people reading that because I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was perfectly fine. I had no problems and quarrels with it at all in that lot. So yeah, that's my first one of many. I thought I'd show off on that lot myself. So
It's very nice. So I've got 6 very small ones. I just wanted to show 3 of which I got a few weeks ago, and 3 that I got at Comic-Con back in September from my local Comic-Con. So the first one I have is Fantastic Four. Whatever happened to the Fantastic Four?
oh,
Um,
that's nice.
I've
Just that
s-
artwork.
I haven't
Yeah.
read the whole thing yet. I've started it. It's good so far. Um, but the art from Alex Ross, like he's a legend in the Marvel Comics industry and just comics in general. This one, I'm very interested to see what you think, is Captain America and Black Panther, Flags of Our Fathers. So
Ooh. Oh, hang on. Is that based
it
in
is.
like World War
So
Two?
there's a video game coming out
I was
of
just
Captain
about to say
America
that.
and Black Panther in World War II. And this book is about Steve basically going to Wakanda because the Nazis are invading. And T'Challa's grandfather is the Black Panther. So they have to kind of work together and kind of defeat the Nazis in Wakanda. And it's really, really cool. So I highly
Oh,
recommend.
right.
The art is very unique too. It's
Okay.
it's very not rough, but it's. Let's see if I can find an example. Like Red Skull in particular, he looks very menacing. Like
Okay.
in my head, when I think Red Skull, this is what I think of. Because Avengers: Earth's
Oh.
Mightiest Heroes kind of make him look that way too. See if you can.
Oh, that is nice. Okay.
Yeah. So
Mm.
that kind of art. The next one, Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe.
Oh, you got the one I did here as well.
Yeah, so I just got that a few weeks ago. That was really cool. Aunt May hiring Taskmaster to kill Deadpool. Would not have seen that coming at all. But yeah, so those are the 3 I got recently.
Before you carry on, have you
Yep.
ever read any of the other like Deadpool kills Wolverine, Deadpool kills Cable, anything like that?
Not the Deadpool kills, but I have the volume 1 of Deadpool and Cable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
And
back there, but I do have
yeah,
that
like I
one.
say, I would recommend. I don't know if I've got some in here. Let me have a look quickly. I would recommend though some of the Deadpool Kill series because some of the ones in there are so funny in that lot. Some of the stuff that he gets away with and just does, it's just ridiculous.
I'm gonna have to figure out where I'm gonna put these after I've already talked about them, because
I literally, that's what I was just trying to figure out as well, to be honest. They put you there. That's the. Come on, where we go? No. Oh, I ain't got none of me himself. But yeah, there's a few that I've got Deadpool kills wise and just so good. Well, because you've started off with the small ones, I'm gonna start off with my small ones that lot, and I'll just show you a couple of my like not information books, but the omnibuses, encyclopedias, and stuff like that sort of thing. So I only got this probably last year. So the first one I've recently got is the Spider-Man encyclopedia of all his like characters and villains and
okay.
everything that sort of thing. Which I got this in anticipation for Spider-Man 2. So obviously, I don't know if you can see obviously Silk coming, which obviously ended Spider-Man 2
Yeah,
in that lot, which that was just a really interesting read, seeing how many people, seeing very few like ones they've actually used, and
yeah.
just like some of them is ridiculous.
Like you have the
Like
villains like
Stiltman and
Electro and Green Goblin and Doctor Octopus that are always reused, but he has so many
yeah,
villains that have never been touched before. Like
no,
I'll get to, because I still have a few small ones to show, but one of them I want to see so bad on the big screen in a movie.
oh, okay. My next one, this I think this was done just after Endgame. This one was, but it's another like, but this one it's the Marvel Studios
Right.
encyclopedia sort of characters and stuff like that sort of thing. Which again, which is really nice to see how they've come up with some of the backstories and what they use and just like where they first made the appearance from and stuff like that. Sort of thing, like Taserface and the Ice Bloke and that lot. I just absolutely love. And so yeah, it was just really nice to see them sort of ones. They split them in different characters and stuff. And then these three are probably the shocking ones out of my collection that you probably won't know about, and none of them got anything to do with Marvel, to be honest. So I have done a comic corner on this one, and it is Star Trek: Day of Blood, which again I'd never realised they did any Star Trek comics. I was totally unaware of any Star Trek comics and stuff like that sort of thing. It was only when I recently watched, well, when I come out the Star Trek Lower Decks, I watched that. Didn't realise they had a comic books of that, so I started reading the comics of that sort of thing. Again, if anybody's like Star Trek and anything like that, it's very well worth having a look at some Star Trek comics. It's very quite good. The next one is a Star Wars Darth Vader one, the Shura Tour
I
War.
had, it wasn't that specific one, but I had a Darth Vader comic a long time ago, and
Okay.
I think it's the same series as that, but it was a
Yeah.
different like volume in the series.
I said some of the artwork and that lot as
Yeah.
well. It's ridiculously good. So just looking at like Vader himself as well as the Emperor, it's
Yeah,
just
like that
so
first
like.
frame you just showed of the Emperor, that's a direct illustration of a shot from Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
But you could tell it looks like it. To be honest, that
Yeah.
it's just ridiculous. But yeah, some of the stuff in here is really good. And then probably my most biggest surprise, I mean little ones anyway, is, and I've always said it, I've always give credit to him. He's the only one I'll ever give it credit for, and he's Batman. And I've got Batman Hush.
Oh, yes.
Now
So good.
I've
It's
only
so
probably
good.
read half of this. I've not read it all fully properly just yet. Probably only got it in the last 2-3 months that lot. So I've only read half, and I can tell the contrast of artwork from Marvel to DC just straight away looking at it. Sort
Like
of thing.
Jim Lee, the
It's
artist
just
for that, is really, really good. Like some of the best Batman art
uh,
out there.
I just thought I just saw it and I was like, well, Hush. Quite a lot of people go on about Hush and stuff like that sort of thing. So I was like, go on, I'll have a read and have a look at it, and it is well good. Now, so I've only read about halfway through it. But yeah, I really do like it. To be honest, I say it's the only DC character I'll ever have in this house is Batman. I'll only
Yeah,
ever give
I've
credit
got a
for him.
huge
So
DC collection too, and
yeah,
like 3/4 of it is just Batman. Like he's my second favorite character under Spider-Man. Like he's really good. I've got like Batman posters.
okay.
I've got a Batman thing here. I've got a Spider-Man thing there. So Batman and Spider-Man for me. But yeah, those are cool. Like Batman Hush is one of those that like it's been adapted into an animated movie. The movie sucked. The book was
Oh, did it?
yeah,
I say I've
keep it
never
that
seen
way.
it, to be honest. So that's
Because they make some changes that make no sense. But the book is really well done. There's a lot of surprises in it, so I'm interested to see what you think of it. Um, if you finish
ooh,
it soon.
ooh, okay. Well, I'll have
So
a look
just
at
to
that.
round out my small ones, at Comic Con I got this Hawkeye: My Life as a
Oh, that's
Weapon.
a very nice one.
Yeah, if you haven't read this, the art is really cool. It's also just a really great story of like Clint Barton's just a normal guy, but he's also a superhero. So he's got like his normal life stuff, but he's also got, you know, the superhero stuff that comes with it. He's training Kate Bishop. It's really well
Can
done.
you see how adapted it is to the series as well?
The opening credits to episode 1 of Hawkeye is directly inspired by this book. Like it's so well adapted into the show. It's really well done. Um, so yeah, that is one I highly um, recommend. This one I didn't read it, but just the cover alone, the Hobgoblin
Oh,
is a villain I want to
nice.
see in the movies because
Yes. Yeah.
he needs to be done. But yeah, I just thought that cover is so good, and I saw that at
That is
Comic Con. I was
nice.
like, yeah, I need that.
Yeah.
Like that's
I'd like
iconic.
to see him be portrayed in the game as well. I
Yes.
really would like to see him portrayed in the game. I really
Yeah.
would. I think
And
that's where they're going with the end of Spider-Man 2. Myself, anyway.
I could see that. Like, I want to see Green Goblin for sure, but yeah,
Oh,
Hobgoblin would be
yeah.
cool. And this one, again, just for the cover alone, is a variant of one of the
Oh,
most iconic Doctor Doom um, images. So I thought that was really cool, and happy I got that one. So those are all my small ones. And now for the real big ones. I'm still trying to figure out where to put these.
Luckily enough, I've got space to my left-hand side, so I'm alright. I can.
Okay, so my first big one. This is the one that was one of the very first ones I've ever had for Marvel.
Okay.
Is Infinity War.
Oh yeah.
So at the time, I was like, "Wow, this is really cool. I have no idea what's going on, but this is awesome." Because as a kid, you don't really know what the story is. You just
Yeah.
like reading it because it's superheroes. Um,
Mm.
so rereading this, it's like there's so much happening in this, and like I don't know how this is not a good entry point to comics, by the way. Like there's so much happening in it. I do not recommend starting with this one. But the art is so good. Like look at that Thanos. Like that's so good.
Mm.
Um,
See that one myself. I've read that one, and that I could just to manage to read it because there's not so much happening on the page, and it's quite like, nicely laid out, sort of thing. It's not just
yeah.
bombarding
So
you,
you
sort of
know in
thing.
my Marvel franchise I was talking about Celestials and those Celestials that show up at the end.
Mm.
Art like this inspired me to kind of add that. So you have the Living
Mm.
Tribunal, you have Eternity, you have Galactus, like that kind of art is it's always stood out to me, and I just thought I need to include that somewhere in my franchise. So
Mm.
um, this was one of the first collections I ever had in my comics. So just nostalgic value, and it's the first one I've had. So that's my first like big one to show.
I said, well, you've already gone. My like my very first one. I've not got it with me now, but the very first one that I read when I've got them was the Civil War, and I just absolutely love that artwork and just just seeing it all and seeing that iconic like Captain America
Yeah.
Iron Man scene with the shield and the sparks going over, and then him stood over Iron Man just about to jab him in that lot. It's just so good in that lot sort of thing. But one of the ones that I recently started playing really in that lot. Where's it gone? Oh, where's it gone? Oh crap! We're not playing, but where has it gone? Because I think you'll appreciate this one. There you are. Is Spider-Geddon.
I haven't read that one.
Have you not read this one? Honest to God, it's so good. Just seeing all the different Spider-Man working together in that lot, and just some of the artwork and everything is like you can tell that's like Sony's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You can. It's just such a good comic book series. Just seeing like Morlan come back to try and like kill him. He's like a little vampire family sort of thing. It's just seeing how all the different Spider-Men all work together. It's like the art style. It's just like look at that art style. It's just so nice. That lot.
How recent is that?
This one I can find out. I want to say maybe 2019, 2020.
Okay.
I can find any complete information about it. It's recent-ish. It's like after the first Spider-Man game, before Miles Morales game. It's like 2019, 2020 sort of thing. Hang on. Spider-Verse was in 2014. Doesn't actually tell you a timeline. But yeah, it's about 2018, 2019 sort of thing. But yeah, just reading this and just so nice that last. Seeing all the different Spider-Men all together.
Yeah, it's cool.
Oh, so nice that lot. But yeah, that was one that I really liked. And then this one, I've done this for the channel as well. I did another Comic Corner one for this as well. And I got this around when I started listening to D&D with Dice with Death, and I just absolutely just adored it. And then it's You Are Deadpool.
Oh, interesting.
And literally, is there like a? Wait, is that no? No, that's not the thing. She literally can photograph. Oh, not photograph, but photocopy like your own character sheet. Come on, let me get it. So you can like do your own character sheet and everything. Like your class, your level. You have. Oh Christ! Photocopy your own dice, like Deadpool dice and everything like that. And it's like basically a choose your own adventure sort of one,
cool.
And it's just so good in that line. Like you go through like different time periods, like you go back to the 70s, stuff like that. It's just so funny in that lot, and you get so many different outcomes as well. And you meet so many different people. Like I was quite happy when I ran into the Punisher and he killed me.
Oh, he killed you. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just so good in that lot, and I guess that's one of the ones I've done for the channel. But I love playing it, to be honest. So,
that's very interesting. I've never seen that before.
It's very unusual, very different, to be honest. When I first seen it.
Yeah, I've never seen that. So, just a follow up to Infinity War. I should have read this before, but I got this after. Is Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh.
Another classic where it's basically Infinity War. Like Thanos going after the stones, all the heroes going after him. But he's literally like the beginning of this book, he does the snap and people are gone, and then everyone has to go after him and try to get the stones back. But it's so well done. Like again, the art incredible. Some of the most iconic Marvel art that I've seen, and like again, just so many moments have stuck with me. And like Nebula getting the gauntlet and then she's revived, like she's like a zombie basically the entire thing, and then she gets it and she's like revived. She looks a lot better. The next one, I think you'll like this. I've done this on the my old stuff too from last year with my top 10 comics, but the death of Captain America. Like, this again was one of the first ones I got to, and just the art is so well done. It's a much more grounded story, and it's so good. Like, this is one I would like to see adapt to. Like, obviously, like, it would have to be in a reboot with Captain, like, you actually do Civil War, you kill Captain America, and you have the whole Bucky taking on the mantle. This whole conspiracy, like, people are hiding secrets from him, like, who killed him. Like, obviously, you know, it's Crossbones, but why did he do it? Who's behind everything? All that kind of stuff. I thought it was so well done. And yeah, highly recommend to anyone. Like, this was, again, one of the first ones I got, so always gonna stand out to me, and it's one I'll always reread.
So going on with our, like, what's it called? What do you call it? Picking franchise movies and that lot. This is the one I basically ended it on. It is Siege.
Okay.
Now, I literally, when we knew we was going to do like the franchise and stuff like that sort of thing, this is the one that I wanted it to end with, sort of thing. Because like the conflict with, you actually have in the comics, Doom actually turns on Iron Patriot, Norman Osborn, which I didn't want to have in my franchise. I want him to work together and stuff like that. But having that moment where he's like losing everything, he's definitely like turning back into the Green Goblin himself. Just seeing them sat round, just all talking together, that lot. It's just like, you know, shit's going down because they're all losing power and everything. And then when the encounter, like the battles and stuff like that, it's just so good, and it had to be in mine. Just like some of the artwork of the big battles and stuff like that. It's just
cool.
so nice. It's just so crisp, so clean. It's like when I had Sentry just literally tore down. That was quite a shocking moment for me. Just seeing Asgard in ruins. His Sentry's just literally just destroyed it all and literally gone. And obviously he turns into the void, and that's where you see Norman Osborn finally cracking and having the Green Goblin face and the void on the left hand side, which I'd love to see the void in like a live action sort of thing. You do something like that, be literally just so good. And like there's little snippets in between the comics on this where you have like transmissions from like the White House to what's going off down on the thing, and it's like like cool. Communications from the White House to Mario and stuff like that sort of thing. So it's like tells you like what's going off and how they're relaying the messages back and stuff like that. It's just so nice. And then there's the big bit at the end where the thing gets ripped apart. That was one of the shocking moments for me where Loki just gets ripped apart by the void. It literally just splat, done, dead, and that lot. It's so nice. But yeah, again, when I knew we were doing this big the franchises, this is one that it had to end here with like the Dark Avengers and everything like that. It just had to end here. And one that I definitely would recommend going to read now.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. That sounds cool.
Honestly, and then one more, Marvel Zombies. Had to be.
Yeah. I haven't read that myself, but it looks cool.
You never read? Oh, honestly, it's so good in that. Like, how well they did it in the animation. If they could really properly tap into some of the darker stuff in this, it'd just be so good. Like with them all devouring Galactus and that, just fighting amongst themselves. Yeah.
Jeez.
And obviously at the end they actually get all of Galactus's powers and like they can like go anywhere they want. So that's like the end shot.
Wow.
It's just so good in that lot. And like the different in these books as well, it tells you like the different comic variations they've done. So you've got like the classic Daredevil and Elektra one. They've got like the classic.
Yeah. I think I've seen some of these.
Yeah, so they're
That's
they're all
cool.
in like zombie forms instead of the actual like Silver Surfer one at the bottom, the Green Goblin one. So good. And again, when I knew they was doing the Marvel Zombies, and hopefully, we're obviously getting the series of it next year, I think now,
Yeah.
something like that. I hope. I just hope it's going to be as good as this. It's so nice.
Yeah, that's really cool. My next one, my introduction to, I guess, well, I have a video dropping at 10 actually this morning, of my top 5 Marvel heroes, so make sure to check that out when it comes out. But my introduction to Daredevil, which is Frank Miller and Klaus Jansson's Daredevil. It's from the 80s, I believe. 80s, I think. Yeah. So this was when Frank Miller was like reinventing the character, like putting him in the much darker toned environment. This is like what inspired the TV show, which is like my favorite show of all time. Like it's got really good storytelling. There's a lot of crossovers in it, like with different villains and heroes, but the overall thing is, Kingpin is behind a lot of things, and Bullseye and stuff like that. Like there's this, oops, with Bullseye and Daredevil.
That's nice.
Like it's really really good.
That is nice. But I can't read them ones. It just seems like it's just too much for me to like comprehend.
Yeah, no,
Sort of
these
thing.
ones are kind of different because it's not like in the 60s it's very heavy,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
this,
I think that's like on the cusp, isn't it? Sort of thing. That they've still got quite a bit there, but they're just taking some things away, sort of thing.
yeah, but yeah, just the art in this is so good. Like I think I just saw the Elektra. It's not her first appearance, I don't think, but this iconic cover. Come on. Of Elektra in the Lightning and then Daredevil. But yeah, this one's really good. I also have Born Again, and I have The Man Without Fear, which is his retelling of the origin.
That's
with
a really
the
nice
the
one
black
actually.
cloth outfit. So yeah, that's one I highly recommend because like Frank Miller is a legend in comics. Like he did Daredevil, he's done Batman, he's done Ninja Turtles. Um,
Oh, I didn't realise that. Bloody hell.
yeah, he's done a lot of things and he's reinvented a lot of characters. So definitely check him out. Just one more before I pass it on to you is Annihilation. Now this is
Okay.
volume 1. I have volume 2 back there. But again, like this is an event I really want to see adapted in the MCU or the movies in some way. Like very much a cosmic oriented event. Like there's not a lot of Earth heroes, if at all, in this. It's basically Nova, Silver Surfer, Drax, like all those cosmic heroes teaming together to take down Annihilus because he's got his wave coming, and it's basically killing everything in its path. So, like Richard Rider shines here, like again, very iconic, where he gets the Nova
Damn,
Force.
that's nice. Okay.
The art is really good.
Oh, I've never read this one. Okay.
This is the series also, the iconic picture of Drax punching through Thanos' chest, and he has his heart in his hand.
I've never read.
So
No,
that's
never
in
read this
volume
one.
2 when he kills Thanos. But yeah, it's really good. Like there's iconic art with Silver Surfer. Like that looks really well done.
Oh, damn.
And yeah,
That's
just highly
nice.
recommend to anyone Annihilation. It's really really good. So yeah, that's my next one.
One of the I started getting after a few years of the Ultimate Graphic Novel collections, the black ones. You started getting like Deadpool ones on their own, and I'd never read like. I've read a few Deadpool ones, obviously, like Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe and stuff like that. But this one, I didn't realise it went proper hard sort of thing. There's probably the very first expletive comic I've ever read, and it's Deadpool Max second cut, and it literally states it is not for kids.
Yeah, that's what it
I've
says on
never.
Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe 2 in the bottom. It's not for kids.
Yeah, but I'd never. I knew it said that, but I've never seen like this. Is just ridiculous. It's like it's proper graphics, like
Yeah, I don't know if you
banging
should
some
show it on
bird
this,
and
but
yeah. No, I'm trying to like find cleaner ones that are. But it's like the art animation of it, well, the artwork of it as well. It's just real simple
that looks
and
cool.
stuff. But when it shows you like some stuff going down, it's just like, wow, sort of thing. And I've never really seen Deadpool being drawn in that sort of way.
Yeah,
It's
the
like
eyes are very
very,
different. It's
yeah,
like more angled. Like usually he has the oval shaped.
yeah, exactly that. Like, and it's just very, I don't know, it's rough, sort of like humany, sort of liked. Oh, hang on, I can't show that picture. Christ, oh no. Yeah, it's just really different, and I quite enjoyed it. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much when I first read it, and I was like, okay, it's quite different seeing a very more expleted side of him, sort of thing like that.
Yeah, it's cool.
And obviously, one that it was one of my favourite characters in that last. It's not Captain America, it's not Deadpool. It is obviously the Punisher on the road.
Oh, I've never
Again,
heard of
a
that one.
very like very gritty. So like him going just taking out just any mob, families and people he can find, that sort of thing. They've got like FBI agents chasing after him. He's like they're every like not every step of the way, but they're catching up to him, trying to find out what he's up to. It's just the artwork. It just reminds me. Ever seen played the PS2 Punisher game?
No.
A lot of that is from this sort of thing. Like I think the piranha is one of the death scenes where you can hold somebody over the piranha tank and
Oh.
stuff like that.
Oh, I have
That's
seen that. I've seen that.
yeah. Let me see if I can
That's
find
cool.
that. Yeah, it's just such a good game like that. And then when I finally got round to seeing this, and then there's another one. Oh, I can't think what it's called now, but I think it's the series before this one, and it's just that's where you see like the Russian and like Jigsaw and stuff like that. It's just so nice, and yeah, it's one of the comics that always made me fall in love with the Punisher sort of thing, because you know that he just don't take no crap and all that. And it's a very iconic thing about him where it's like taking something from Spider-Man, where it's like Punisher born again is coming out of the grave,
Oh, that's cool.
which is just really nice, that lot. And yeah, it's just so good.
Yeah, very nice. Speaking of that, my next one is Spider-Man Kraven's Last Hunt.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Very iconic. This is the deluxe edition. So it's got a bit more extra things in it. Like it has the main story, it has Kraven's first appearance. It has a centered Kraven story towards the end of it. There's a what if, or no, is that? No, it's like Spider-Ham.
Oh yeah.
Let's see if I can do this without breaking the book, but yeah, it's already cracking on me. So it's like Spider-Ham and Kraven's. It looks like he's a bird of some kind.
Yeah, I say it looks like a duck or something like that,
Yeah.
sort of thing.
But yeah, that's cool. There's a whole like story of him with the spider, like tormenting him, like kind of giving him that, I guess, motivation to kill the spider.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's so iconic, like so well done. It's very much a darker Spider-Man story. So if you're going into this expecting something lighthearted, this is not for you. Okay, I shouldn't have come across that, but something happens in this, and you're like, wow, I cannot believe that just happened. So highly recommend to anyone. This is during Spider-Man's like black suit phase, so it's not like an origin kind of story or anything like that. But again, just this cover alone, that's huge. Again, you'll see it in the thumbnail too. Yeah, just before, like, I've got two that kind of go together, but I'll let you do your next one.
No, go on. I'll let you do two.
Okay. So this one I've had for a long time as well is the original Secret Wars.
Oh no, yeah.
So this one again stood out to me. It's very good. And I know a lot of people don't like it just because it was very forced. Like basically the whole point of this was to sell toys, but because this was when, um, well, they weren't. That was in the '90s, so they were kind of suffering in some way, and they're like, we need toys and we need this to kind of promote it.
It was like they needed to boost the like what's the word, popularity of it all back,
Yeah.
weren't it, and sort of thing.
So basically, they took a bunch of heroes and villains and put them against each other in this event, and Doctor Doom was the main villain, and that was really, really cool. Just skimming through this, there's an iconic cover that was kind of homaged in Endgame, with Hulk holding up the entire Avengers base when it was collapsing. In this, he holds up a giant mountain, basically, over the Avengers and all the other heroes, but it's so, so good. Like if you're just looking for a really like fun read, I highly recommend this. You don't really need any kind of like prior knowledge of anything. It's basically like the heroes are thrown right into this event, and you can just enjoy it for what it is. And it also has one of the most iconic moments in comic history when Spider-Man gets the black suit for the very first time. So yeah, and just the art again is so good. Like so many iconic covers with Doctor Doom. Spider-Woman makes her first appearance in this. Again, there's that cover again. So that's the original Secret Wars. My next one is the 2015 Secret Wars from Jonathan Hickman. Like I said before, this is probably my favorite Marvel story of all time. It's got so... Like, the art is very interesting, but it's so good. I don't know if it's the same artist, but have you read the Thor series from Jason Aaron with Gore the God Butcher?
Yes.
Okay, so the art looks very similar to this. Again, I'm not sure if it's the same artist, but if it is, then that would make sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, so much shit hits the fan in this. Like, Doctor Doom is not a guy you want to mess with and have on the other side of the table with you. Like, this guy does not mess around. And it's going to start in a very fast-paced way. And this is one that, like, he has a whole Fantastic Four series. He has an Avengers series. He has so much leading up to this. I haven't read that, and I started this, and I still, like, really enjoyed it. So you don't really need to read anything before it. But, yeah, it's so good. So highly recommend both the original Secret Wars and the Jonathan Hickman Secret Wars.
That's something I'm going to ask you as well, actually. Like, with them, like, big events, like, obviously... Secret Invasion and like the Secret Wars and stuff. Would you, now you've read like them, like titles themselves, would you consider going back and like reading the like lead up to them, sort of thing?
You mean like rereading these leading up to the movie coming out?
No. Like, so you've got that series itself, like Secret Wars and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Would you read the comics before that event, sort of thing? So. Like the ones leading up to that event in the comics, sort of thing.
Okay. Probably. I mean, like, I've always meant to read those stories, but I don't know why they're so hard to get, because like some of them are like out of print. They're just not available in certain places. So like I look on Amazon, I look at like local bookstores around here, and there's not a ton there, and they're also super expensive too. I try to kind of determine if the omnibus or getting the collections is the more efficient way to get them, because sometimes like you'll have an omnibus that collects maybe 3 volumes, but then the 3 volumes are way more expensive than it would be to get the omnibus. Like each volume is probably I don't know, $30 to $35. So by the time you add that all up, it's like sometimes it's more than the omnibus and sometimes it's less. But yeah, I'd be interested in reading some of the stuff before events like that.
Well, like I said, with Secret Invasion as well as Siege, obviously, I've read them ones in my graphic novel collections, but then I went back and tried to read the stuff leading up to it, sort of thing, which I thought was quite interesting, even though you know what's going to happen at the end.
Yeah.
seeing everything lead up and like interconnect. Well, that was quite good. Now, like, I did try to go onto the is it Marvel Ultimate app thing where you can read the comics.
I've tried that, and you have to pay for so much on it. I was like, I don't
Yeah,
want to do this.
yeah. I had a look at it and I was like, oh yeah, this would be a really good, interesting way to read newer ones that's coming out now and stuff.
Yeah,
But then
you have to
seeing
pay
so much
so
you got to
much
pay
for it.
for it, yeah, it's like no, you're right now. That
Like
sort of thing. I'll stick to.
if you're an avid like comic reader, I can understand how that's of value to you. But for me, like I I don't read a lot. It's more like I have them and I read them when I get them, but like, it's a whole like time management thing. Like
Yeah,
depends on what you've got going on. So,
yeah, yeah,
it's not really cost effective if you're a busy
yeah.
person.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, I'll stick to my like local comic book store, Forbidden Planet. I'll stick to going
Yeah,
there
and that's
and
important too.
getting. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, I'd always recommend supporting your local comic book store, especially. It might be different on your side of the pond, that lot, but over here it's very. There's not many comic book stores or anything at all. To be honest,
No.
like we've got Forbidden Planet and that's it, sort of thing. There's not real tiny ones or anything like that sort of thing. So I go there, but when you try and get comics from there, if you wanted like the latest ones and stuff like that sort of thing, you've got to wait months and months, and that's how I like, fell behind with my Marvel comics because I was like nearly a year behind stuff like that. I was going off, and it was just really grating me, annoyed me sort of thing. So I wanted to be like, oh, what's happening now, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then seeing stuff around, I was like, oh, that's a bit shit. I don't know if you can get spoiled for me now because I'm a year away, sort of thing. But anyway, yes, we'll go back to now again. I'm a sucker for like big collections and stuff like that sort of thing. Now, I did attempt to start reading these collections, but when I read what was coming up, it was a lot of ones I've already got from my novel graphic collection. Now, this one, though, I had not read in my ones. It is New Ways to Die from Spider-Man. That's where you have the anti-Venom and Venom going up against itself.
Oh, I've
It's
never
just sort
seen
of
that
the
before.
Spider. It's very nice, that lot, and it's like this is the first time you see the anti-Venom suit sort of thing. And again, just the art style and just so good. Let me get a picture of because it's going to be pretty iconic when you see it. Like as well, when it's flipped some of the art style, that is the sort of similar sort of artist that you have in I Am an Extremist.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about. It's a Granov or
So
something like that.
I won't be able to tell you. I say names on crap with. But yeah,
Something
it's that
Granov.
same sort of. Yes, it's similar sort of art style to that, which is just so nice. And then where is it? Where is he? Where is it? Come on. That is a very iconic sort of
Oh, yeah,
picture.
okay.
I am anti Venom, and obviously you get that in the game as well and everything. And just seeing them like fight against each other, how like epic the fights are against Venom and anti Venom, and like, it's just so good.
One thing I'm not
Like
a fan of is Venom having the white, like, iconic eye, and then there's the eye inside that shape.
oh yeah,
I hate that. I don't know why they
There's-
chose to do that.
yeah, there's no need for it, sort of thing. There really isn't. And then like the like iconic Green Goblin
Oh, that's cool.
fighting amongst it all and that lot, and then you've got like a brand new Scorpion.
Oh,
It's just so nice in that line. He's like, it's like Norman Osborn in his most like, I'm going to get you one way or the other. But there's so much happening as well. Like the symbiote actually gets Gargan, and he's like, that's how he's like it's half Scorpion, half Venom sort of thing. The anti Venom's trying to stop him. It's just so good. Now that's a really interesting like series to read. That one is, and then and the other one that I never knew that they did something like this, and it was just totally threw me off. And I think I'd done a comic corner on this as well, and it is Spider-Man and Deadpool's Itsy Bitsy. Basically,
interesting.
they've had a kid together. Basically, somebody's spliced the DNA of both of Spider-Man and Deadpool together and made Itsy Bitsy. Let me get you a picture.
I've never ever heard of that.
Yeah, honestly, it was proper random as anything, that lot. But when I first come across it, I thought, okay, yeah, that's different. Where is she? Where is she? Itsy Bitsy, Itsy Bitsy. Where are you? Yeah, there we go. Itsy Bitsy.
Okay.
There's like a mashup of Deadpool and Spider-Man's powers and that lot, and she's really hard to kill. Both of them can't like get hold of her or do anything that lot, and then like there's like that buddy cop comedy between them both, where they're like, "Well, you're the good parents, now I'm the bad parent," and stuff like that sort of thing. It's so good, and like you have like different interactions with like obviously Nightcrawler, like trying to figure out what the hell
Oh,
is
that's
going
cool.
off, sort of
Nightcrawler
thing.
is a really good character.
Yeah. It's just, yeah, so good. It's just a proper random story that I'd never heard before until I got the Deadpool ones of this, and yeah, it's just so good. Now, so yeah, I would another one I'd really recommend if you want a proper out there sort of series and sort of one. To be honest,
Yeah, I've never heard of that, so it's very interesting. My next one is my very first omnibus, actually. Again, like we've talked about this before, but Secret Invasion. I'm not going to open it because it's very flimsy. Like I don't want to completely ruin it, but again, the art is so good in it. Yeah, exactly. The art is so good. Like some of the most iconic modern Avengers art, I think, like some of that. Yeah, some of that too. I'll see if I can be careful, but there's a shot in this with Captain America. Okay, this is... I actually have it in a smaller form. I'll see if I can find that. Okay, so I had this when I was like in second grade, which is way too young to read this.
I'm gonna say that's a bit.
So that's a cover of
that's
like
nice.
Avengers. It's like a Skrull take on an old cover. So the opening to this book is Spider-Man and Captain America with the Savage Land. They're on the Savage Land, and Captain America and Spider-Man have that standoff where they don't know. And this image has always stood out to me, where they find out Captain America is a Skrull, and then you have this whole, well, some of it I can't show because he's naked, but you have a shot of the Skrull with the blood pouring down his face, and you have on the beside it like Captain America's whole life illustrated, how the Skrulls are given all his memories, all his knowledge of what it is to be Captain America. I thought it was so good. So this is kind of later on in the event, but like this gripped me from reading it at a very young age, which probably wasn't great. But yeah, getting the omnibus and then seeing the full story, it was one of my favorite comic stories ever, and it's the first omnibus. Like, yeah, highly recommend. Like many of you know, we've talked about Secret Invasion a lot on this, but
Yeah, yeah. Like I say, you can see the pop vinyl behind me as
yeah,
well.
this
obviously.
is one you have to do very carefully and attentively for the movies, because there's so many reveals and craziness that happens in it. It's like you have to do it properly, and the show screwed that up for this event.
Oh, massively in that lot. There's so much you can just dig into in that lot, and you could this would have been one that you'd have like as a two-parter. Myself, anyway, like Avengers: Secret Wars, Secret Invasion 1 Part 2, sort of like they split up Avengers Endgame and Infinity War.
Yeah.
So, with so much you have in it, it's just
And the
just frustrating.
next one I have of the physical ones, and I'll get into the digital ones I have, is the Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1 Omnibus.
Oh,
It's a huge book. Huge. I have the second volume back there too. But this has like first appearance first appearance of all the villains, of all these different interactions, and it's so iconic. Like, obviously it's all from the 60s, so it's like kind of hard to read at some points. But I read this and I rewatched the Spectacular Spider-Man show, and I grew up on that show. Like, that was one I always watched. In my video, you'll hear me talking about that too. But reading that and watching that show, the way they adapted like each episode, it's like they stuck back to the original material, and they did the story in each episode exactly like how the books play out. Like, you have Peter doing something, a villain shows up, now he has to stop them, he has to leave his friends behind and say, sorry guys, but I have to call the police or whatever, and he actually goes to fight them. And he has that whole thing where he's got the first fight, he discovers something and he has to create something or whatever. They have the second encounter and he wins. But then he goes back and his family is like, you abandoned us, like, why would you do that? And he has that Peter Parker like nature where it's like he does really good things, but it costs so much for him. Like, his life is kind of like, I don't know, it's like it's
moral
hard
dilemma, isn't it, sort of thing?
it's hard for him to have a normal life when he is Spider-Man, because he wants to have a girlfriend, he wants to be there for Aunt May, and all this superhero stuff pulls him out of that. And I think the show did that so well, how like Aunt May's dealing with rent issues and debt, and Gwen Stacy, like their whole friendship, and Harry Osborn and all that, like they're starting to kind of like think Peter's hiding something huge. And I think the way they adapted some of the material in this is really well done. So highly recommend to anyone looking for like a more historic side to a character. Like, there's tons of omnibus collections out there for each character, but because Spider-Man's my favorite, I have this and the second one that has more first appearances like Kingpin, things like that. So highly recommend, but it's very expensive too.
Yeah, I can imagine how something like that. It'd be just something iconic as well. Some of the stuff that you could have in there, it's just ridiculously good, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Two that I've not gone with, me. You remind me that I wanted to shout out of was Spider-Man Blue.
Yeah.
Where they just talk about like Gwen Stacy and how he's missing her and stuff like that. Again, I adapted that into my franchise. A really different take on Spider-Man, and it's just really heartbreaking reading that comic. And that, like, it was really nice and well done. And then another one that, if you wanted like just like the history of Marvel and stuff like that sort of thing, I've got it in my shed because I just like buried amongst everything else. But it's called Spider-Man, not Spider-Man, Marvel Vault, and it's got it's like a massive like folder's worth of like old like historical like letters like Stan Lee like sent out to like kids for his comic mailbag sort of thing. It's got like old stamps of they used to have and stuff like that. I've got there's like a membership card that he had, that sort of thing. Well, it's like stickers. There's like posters as well from like I think it's like an old, it's like the Hulk TV series with what's his name? It's like a poster from that. So good. And it's, I think it's up to all the way up to probably the very first Avengers. I think it goes into it, sort of thing. But yeah, it tells you about how they had the struggles, and like a load of things got sold off in the 90s, and it's just really good to just see the history and see how much that it wasn't always roses and fantastic for Marvel. They had a lot of struggles and they had to reinvent themselves for a lot of different things. And that.
Yeah.
One that I need to get round to reading, but I thought I'd bring it on as well, sort of thing. And it reminded me again of the game and everything like that sort of thing. Is Spider-Man Maximal Carnage.
Oh. That's one I've wanted to get in like an omnibus, because I know there's the Spider-Man and Venom omnibus where it has the first encounter and then leading up to Maximum Carnage, so I wanted that.
I said it's one that I've not read because it just like reading, look at some of it. It's just very I know, very wordy, and like the artwork in it looks fantastic
Yeah,
still, and like seeing like Carnage come out, it's still got Venom around, and it's like it just
that's the
looks
Mark
so
Bagley, I
good.
think, Spider-Man. Some iconic art there.
Yeah, it's just so good in that lot sort of thing. But I'm just struggling. I get halfway through it, and then it's just like gives me a headache. I can't explain it sort of thing. Obviously I've got part two as well of it sort of thing. That's my
Nice.
Carnage, and it just looks so good in that lot. But I'm just it's one that I've got to get around to. But just like something like that, it's just very
Yeah, that is a lot.
there's a lot there's a lot sort of thing. But I'll get round to it eventually. That lot, but I just thought I wanted to shout it out, obviously because of the game and everything like that. But it just looks so good, and I know it's a very iconic.
Yeah, that one in particular, yeah.
It's yeah, it's a very iconic one sort of thing. So I thought I've got to give it a shout out sort of thing. It's part of my collection, and I'll get round there
Yeah,
eventually.
very nice. That's one I've like always wanted to. But like the omnibus that I've been looking at with the Spider-Man and Venom and then Maximum Carnage is always out of print. And they finally got a new
Oh,
printing, but it's like super super expensive. So you kind of have to pay attention to when it's on some kind
damn.
of sale. And I always miss that, so um yeah. Well, we'll
Bless you.
see when I can get around to getting that, but I've got my digital
Yeah.
suggestions,
Mm.
which I'm very excited for because these are really really good. Um, so I'll flip my window. Okay, can you see?
Ooh, let's have a look.
There should be a Moon Knight cover on the screen. If you open my stream and then you tab, I think you
Not
can
on.
see it too. But if not, you can watch it after. So anyone
Yeah,
watching, you
yeah.
can see the cover.
Actually, I tell you what. Hang on. I can be a cheat actually. Let me let me cheat on it. Come on, where are you? Aha!
You see it then?
There we go. I can cheat. I can cheat and watch it.
All
Yeah, I can
right.
see it now.
So this is a series from 2014, I believe. Um, so what I have is like a collection of all these issues. Um, of this is like when Mark becomes Mr. Knight. So this is like his first appearance of Mr.
Oh,
Knight.
nice.
So this series is so well done. Like the art is so good in it. Um, like Moon Knight's one of my favorite characters. So there's a lot of stories in this that are like very iconic. Um, like there's a whole like moral dilemma with Khonshu. There's a whole thing with him dealing with the
Oh,
presence
right.
of his different like personas. It's so well done. And this issue in particular, number 5, it's basically him starting at the bottom of a building and he's working his way all the way to the top to save a little girl, I think. But it's just him taking out all of these people just to get all the way up to the top. It's so so good, and the art is very
Damn.
similar to that Hawkeye story
Mm.
that I have. It's very similar to that, so um, definitely check out this Moon Knight series. And again, these aren't like
Damn.
all of the covers, but I can show you after this
So, I
how
don't
you
think
can
I've
get some
got
of
a
those.
Moon Knight series or comic, to be honest. That's something I've got to probably have a look and invest, to be
Yeah,
honest,
I've
because they
got
look really
this.
good.
I've got this and the his first epic collection with his first appearance and some of his first stories. So there's Moon Knight.
Mm.
The next one I have is Chip Darsky's Daredevil series, which I've been talking to you
Oh,
about.
is that the yeah? As we said about, weren't it?
So these, I've just recently read them, are so so good. Like I mention it in the video again I have coming out, but this series, it feels like the TV show, but it's like a like season 5 or 6 of the show. It
All right,
it
okay.
feels very grounded to a certain extent. Um, like there's so many characters that, like, if you've watched it in this cover in particular, it looks just like the show. Um, so many characters, if you've watched the show, you'll recognize pop up
Yeah,
in this. Obviously, it's connected to the greater universe, so other Marvel heroes will pop up in it. But like the story is so good. Like it's Matt later in his life. He's something happens, and he's kind of put through this whole path of what does it mean to be a hero? Like what was my purpose? Why did God put me here? And I
right.
think that's really, really cool to explore. And then the ending leads into an event called Devil's Reign, which
Yeah, I know that one. I
which
definitely
I'm in
know
the
that
middle
one.
of reading now, but it's so good so far. And this is what I think the MCU is building up to with Fisk. In that Daredevil series, he is the mayor of New York. In this, everything like goes out of control. And I think what they're doing now with Thunderbolts and Daredevil Born Again, I would not be surprised if this is what they're building up to. And again, we can talk about this more in like a Daredevil stream, but
Yeah, yeah,
um,
definitely that lot.
highly recommend all of these. They're so well done. Um, like especially that Daredevil one. Like again, I went into it with zero expectations because I haven't read a lot of the modern comics, but
Yeah.
that like absolutely is incredible. So I highly recommend anyone check that out if you haven't already. Same with the Moon Knight series.
Mm.
But I can show you after this how to get those if
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because love to. Like, I tried to get to obviously the Marvel one, and it was just stupidly and so expensive and that sort of thing. But
yeah.
I definitely like to know how you get some of them sort of because it looks fantastic and that sort of thing. Well, I'll end up with my two. Like again, I think you'll appreciate sort of thing. This is another one you probably if you're not heard of the other one, you probably not know this and sort of thing. But another one of the Spider-Man Deadpool crossover connection sort of thing, and isn't it romantic?
I think I've heard of this one.
This is the one where I think he kills him over and over again. Yeah, he
Oh
says
yeah,
that
yeah,
you're
yeah.
in death.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I was like, again, some of the artwork, Mysterio and
That
the
looks really good.
Deadpool buggy sort of thing, it's just so nice.
Mysterio is a
I
villain
was
that
like,
needs to show up in a lot more things.
oh yeah, massively now sort of thing. And it's just it's like obviously you're again, it's all tied on with more else sort of thing. So you have like Thor come
Okay.
into it. Again, it's just so like really good. And that like you see him, it's just the yeah. Come on, come on. It's like talking to Mephisto to restore him.
Okay.
It's just such a good series that lot, and it's like keeps waking up. It was like, what's going off? Why am I getting killed all the time? There's always fighting amongst themselves and everything. It really is a good series. And again, it's like a little added bit at the end where like they're going to one like Mysterio's sort of things, so the artwork completely changes again.
That looks really cool.
It's just
The classic
so nice
Mysterio.
that lot. Yeah, it's just how the chop and change between swords is just really, really nice. So that's Isn't It Romantic? Which I got this Deadpool series brought on a lot of ones that I'd never heard of before and that sort of thing. It's like opened my eyes to more things that it's actually got up to, sort of thing. And then I got again. This is another one that I've not actually been able to read just yet, but I just really liked the cover and that sort of thing. So it's Thanos. Thanos wins,
I think I've heard of this one too.
and again, it's just what I can tell. I've not got round to reading it yet, sort of thing. And no, because I have seen this and I've read the. I did a preview of it on the Comic Corner. Is a Cosmic Ghost Rider,
Oh, okay.
and it's just like he's one of the heralds of Thanos, and it's literally going around basically winning, sort of thing. A nice shot of Silver Surfer as well.
Oh yeah, that's
So
cool.
good. Like this, I'm a sucker for big old artworks, like that sort of things. They are. So Punisher is the Spirit of Vengeance.
That
As
was a
Ghost
very
Rider.
interesting thing that they did. How
Mm.
Frank
I
Castle
liked
is
it.
the Ghost Rider.
I liked it. Finding out in these comics that he'd done something like that, it just looks so good. Like with Death as well. Another.
Okay.
It's just so nice that line. So it's something I've got to get round to, but again, it's just so nice. I'm a sucker. If I see artwork out like, I was just drawn
Yeah,
to it.
the
I just
art
really like it
is
a lot.
kind of a selling point for me. If it looks kind of cartoony, I don't know if I'd go for it. If it
Yeah,
looks very over the top, like like very over exaggerated, I probably won't go for it. But if it
mm.
like you look at the cover and you're like, okay, this might look interesting. I take a few skims through the book. I'm like, yeah, this might look good, and I go for that purely just based on the artwork, and if I know the
Yeah,
story's somewhat good.
yeah. It's pretty much the same as me. I've got to something's got to be really eye catching and really
Yeah.
like, wow, that looks really good, sort of thing. And then again, I'll take a few skims through it, see what the rest of it's like, see if there's any changes or anything like that, sort of thing. And as long as it runs quite nicely, it looks really good, then yeah, I'm sold. I am, sort of
Yeah.
thing. It's like with some of the older ones, like with the Maximum Carnage one, it looks good. It's just a lot of there, and I'm trying to get through it, sort of thing. But it's just a bit. I got to take my time a bit more. I should wear my glasses, but
Some of those are a bit frustrating when it's like there's so many panels and then all of the words are kind of blending together and you don't know where to look to kind of continue the discussion because sometimes they go completely across, sometimes they go like in the zigzag direction, and some they just go like straight down. So you kind of need to figure it out as you're going what direction to read in.
yeah, definitely. But yeah, that's my continuum of stuff that I've got there.
Yeah, that's what I've got too. There's so much more back there, but that would
Yeah.
take forever.
Well, like I said, I've got stacks and stacks downstairs, and I've still got like 2 trunks worth in the leading shed and that last there. If we ever did another one, I'll try and dig them all out and that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I definitely have a lot of different ones too.
right. Well, we'll leave it there then. That lot. Thank you for joining us on our new Project Assemble for the new live streams. That lot, which going forward, we'll probably be running with it. There won't be any live stream next week because obviously I think Nate's disappointed in me going to see Madam Web.
If you want to watch it, I'm fine with that. Just myself, I'm not paying to see that.
It's Marvel. I've got to. It's like curiosity killed the cat. I've got to see what they've done.
I have heard rumors of things that potentially could happen with people, but I don't know if it's true. I think they're just using it as a way for people to see it, and then they'll be disappointed anyway.
Like I say, I'm not holding out any hope in that lot. So it's just it's similar to what happened with the Marvels. And I wasn't holding out much hope for that, but I absolutely adored the Marvels, and I laughed through that. So I'm writing it, bleeding brilliant. So I'm touch wood. I'm hoping a similar sort of outcome where I'm not looking forward to it, but it actually turns out well. But yeah, there'll be no live stream next week, so but we will get back onto it the week after that lot, and you'll have my review out of the Madam Web. See what it's like eventually. That lot. But yes, I'd like to say thank you very much for joining us. Just thanks for listening to us going about our comics that lot, and I'm sure we'll do definitely another one of this in the future that lot because I really enjoyed talking with this like comic book stuff. It's just fantastic and that lot. So yeah, I'd like to say thank you very much. Thank you very much for Nate for coming and joining us as always and being a co-host this brilliant live stream and partnership we've got on. It's just fantastic. I couldn't ask for a better person. So thank you very much.
No problem, and thank you for the support as well.
That's all right. No worries. We're always here to help each other out and a lot. And everybody else watching now, watching later on, I'd just like to say thank you very much and goodbye.